Have you seen this viral video scaring the hell out of people about sun exposure? It's always the same story. Polarization. Either black or white. Never telling the whole story. Scaring people. Do you guys remember studies linking meat to cancer? Same story. It's always the same story. Always. It's getting to a point where people don't know what to believe anymore. They don't know what to eat or do anymore. It's frustrating. I get it. And no wonder. If you show this to people and tell them that this is what sun does, of course they're gonna get super scared. It's getting very, very annoying. First of all, we don't know how many hours he was working outside. Second of all, we don't know at what times he was working outside. Was he outside when the sun hit the most? That's a very important detail. Let's take a look at this, shall we? Time of the day does matter. Was he working at noon when the sun hits the most? When it's the most harmful? It's not gonna hit the same at 7 in the morning versus noon, 4 in the afternoon. You're basically telling people that they should not go for a walk at 8 in the morning because the sun hits the same as noon or 2 in the afternoon. It's not the same. The effect is not the same. Next, it's not the same to get sun exposure for 30 minutes to an hour at 8 in the morning or 9 versus getting 5 hours of sun exposure from noon all the way to, I don't know, do the math. It's always about not telling the full story, not taking into consideration the factors. Correlation does not mean causation. Makes sense, you should not get sun exposure at 2 in the afternoon or 3 when the sun hits the most. But you can go for a walk for 30 minutes to an hour. Also, you should consider how many hours you're gonna be outside. Makes sense, right? Also, skin type is important. So how about we take all the factors into consideration and then we talk? How about that? And you can find this information yourself on the weather app where it says UV index. Ideally, you should go out when it's low. And if it's moderate to high, I would recommend sunscreen and limit the exposure. It's about making conscious choices and not being extreme. Did he have any health conditions? And I bet to you he had. What was his lifestyle? If you don't have a healthy lifestyle, free radicals are going to harm you even more. Hello? We are exposed to so many free radicals, which damage our cells and DNA. That's why it's super important to get antioxidants from your diet to counteract those free radicals. So let me explain free radicals really quick. If you remember from chemistry class, stable atoms have to have all electrons paired. If they're not paired, they are unstable. And that's when free radicals form. So the cool thing about antioxidants is that they donate electrons so that atoms can be stable again. Very easy concept to understand. People are so deficient in vitamin D because they're so scared of sun exposure. And let me tell you, vitamin D is extremely important because vitamin D is very unique. It acts as a hormone. So it's both a vitamin and a hormone. It's a corticosteroid prohormone, actually. Vitamin D is hugely involved as a primary determinant of biological modifications in specific clinical conditions, as you can see. It's a key regulator of bone metabolism, of calcium and phosphorus homeostasis with the parathyroid hormone. Vitamin D plays a big factor on skeletal muscle and related outcomes. including physical function decline, sarcopenia, aging, immunity, and hormone regulation, to name a few. It's a very, very important vitamin and hormone. Woo! Okay. People do not get vitamin D anymore. They don't get outside. They're so scared. Look, almost 50% of the population worldwide is insufficient in vitamin D. 50%. And that's an estimation. I know it's more. Way more. They are so scared. 1 billion worldwide. Shook. I'm shook. And you should be too. And these are just some of the vitamin D deficiency symptoms. Just some. Constantly sick. Ding ding, vitamin D is super important for immunity. You're exhausted. Bone density is declining. And also muscle mass. You have back pain. Because vitamin D deficiency is highly correlated to joint pain. You're feeling blue. And this is a fact. If you don't get enough sunlight, you're going to be depressed. 100%. Think about it. When you're on vacation and you're getting a lot of sunlight, you're very happy. You're happy as a flower. Muscles are always sore. Vitamin D is super important for electrolyte balance. Your muscles are not gonna fire properly, and you're gonna get the famous muscle twitches. Next, you're losing hair. Yes, vitamin D is important for hair growth because vitamin D plays a big role on hormones. And if your hormones do not work properly, hair growth is gonna be impaired. For example, if you have thyroid problems, PCOS, PMS. When did this become normal? What is this? Someone needs to get their priorities straight. Yeah. Oh, but really, this is not normal. Have you read this article? If this is not extreme, I don't know what is. Do you find this normal? What the hell? What the hell? Cover up every inch. How to get absolutely no sun this summer. Really? If this is not polarization, bruh, I don't know what is. None? Don't even think about it. I just can't. I just can't. Just look at the stats. 17% severely deficient. 12% normal. 12%. 21% insufficient. And 50% deficient.